Well, starting off with the top story at this hour, U.S. President Trump says that he does not want a war with anyone over the attacks on Saudi Arabia's oil facilities. This comes after the Saudi-led coalition claimed that the initial investigation showed Iranian weapons were used in the attacks. Trump also said that it appeared as if Iran was behind the attacks, but he wanted to be sure about it. Trump said he was ready more than anyone to help key ally Saudi Arabia counter the weekend drone attacks, but he was hoping to avoid war with Iran. Trump has also claimed that U.S. has become such a big producer of oil that it does not need Middle East oil, and hence the attacks will not affect the country much. Remember, he earlier announced that U.S. will be releasing oil from its strategic reserves if needed. Yesterday, the Saudi-led military alliance said the attack on Saudi oil plants was done with Iranian weapons. They were not launched from Yemen as claimed by Iranian-allied Yemeni Houthi rebels. Now, the Iranian President Hassan Rouhani did not speak about these allegations, but he defended the attacks by the Yemen rebels, saying that they were an act of self-defense in response to years of attacks on the Saudi-led coalition. Meanwhile, Russia has proposed that Saudi Arabia purchases Russian weapons to protect itself after the attack on its oil facilities. Now, it's clear that any conflict between Saudi Arabia and Iran would hurt global oil markets, and that would have huge repercussions for India as well. India is the world's third largest consumer of crude oil behind the US and China. India is also the world's third largest importer of crude oil. Over the last 2 years, Iraq has become India's top crude oil supplier with a market share of over 20%. Saudi Arabia comes a very close second, which means that any disruption in Saudi Arabia's oil production will hurt India. Till May 2019, Iran was India's third largest crude supplier, but then the US imposed sanctions on Iran. So India has stopped buying oil for now. The supply disruptions will be bad news for all. The immediate fallout is higher oil prices. Analysts expect a 10 to 15% jump. So crude will cost $70 to $75 a barrel. Before the attacks, crude was hovering around $60 a barrel. By the way, one barrel has 159 liters. This jump is a matter of concern for India. One fear is fuel prices that may not be huge thanks to India's diversification. But the second fear is major, the impact on the Indian economy. If crude prices rise, then India's import bill will increase. Now, every $1 increases in global oil prices increases India's import bill by nearly 11,000 crore rupees. So if crude prices rise by $10, then India's import bill will go up by over 1 lakh crore rupees. Now, that's a significant figure. It could hurt the stability of Indian economy. This year, India has imported 4.5 million barrels of crude every day. So will the supply be hit immediately? No, says the International Energy Agency. It says there is enough in the markets right now. Now, the Union Petroleum Minister Dharmendra Pradhan has also said there is no need to worry. There would be no supply disruption to India. The good thing is that India has diversified its crude imports. In the last few years, India has purchased thrice as much as crude from the US than before. It has also managed to minimize the impact due to sanctions on Iran. So the government is now working to minimize the damage. Now, but if the conflict escalates in West Asia, India won't be immune to it. Saudi Arabia is India's fourth largest trade partner. There are crucial Indian investments in the country and vice versa. Now, so the last question is, does India have reserves in case of an escalation? Well, India has the reserves to meet 12 days of crude demand. Plus, the Indian refiners maintain 65 days of crude storage anyways. So there's no immediate worry, but the crisis is very much far from over.